Welcome, viewers. This is Dex of the Black Pants Legion. Now, this is an interview. I've spoken with admins of Space Station 13 before, and they are notoriously antisocial types who generally don't like to talk with or at people for prolonged periods of time, as they are judge, jury, and executioner on a server and can't be seen demonstrating favoritism, at least in theory. Anyways, here's how this works. I'm putting an open call to any and all Space Station 13 admins on any public listed servers. This call is here, so answer it. If you're interested in answering or participating in an interview about Space Station 13, its history, and your server, please respond. See the description below for an email contact. I'll try to get to you and we can set something up. That being said, this is an interview with a Space Station 13 admin. The questions are largely freeform, and the discussion does not reflect exactly the policy of the server unless stated otherwise explicitly by the person I'm interviewing. The reason I say this is that I want to encourage an admin to be frank, honest, and open about their experiences without worrying that they're shitting on the server, or to prevent them from being yelled at for representing the community in a bad way. This is a point of view and not, I repeat, not an absolute definition of doctrine on said server. That being said, I welcome our interviewee. Please, internet person, tell me your name you wish to go by, your server, and your admin rank.
Hello, you can call me Papa Snow, and I am the new host or head boss guy of Archangel Station.
Alright, so, question 1. Tell us about your server.
Well, currently we are the only Warhammer 40k Space Station 13 server in existence.
Alright, and what other than 40k makes your server unique? What sort of cool stuff do you have to offer?
Well, aside from everything that comes with 40k, Space Marines, Tau, Eldar, Sisters of Battle, etc., we also have the roll the dice system. And what that does is every round, right now 20 minutes in, you can, after you die, you can hit a button and you will roll the dice, see what you become. It could be an orc, could be Eldar, could be a Khorne Berserker, could be a Plague Marine, or it might be a Space Marine of either the Salamanders, Ultramarines, or Ravenclaw, if I remember correctly.
So. Cool. So, why are you an admin on said server? What made you volunteer your time?
Well, I was actually around to some extent when Archangel first began. However, due to some differences with me and its original creator, I kind of left the team and said, hey, you run what you need to do. But since he's given up on the project, and I've taken up the mantle, so to speak.
Alright, so you're just saying, I want to keep this dream alive.
Oh yeah, keep it going.
Alright. What is the hardest part of being an admin on your server?
My role is less of an admin and more of administrative. And I would say one of the hardest challenges I'm facing currently would be... It would be keeping the community as together as anyone ever can. Especially with it going down so frequently in the past that people have had less than ideal experiences before, and some things that may have changed over the past 4 years that it's been up.
And in that 4 years that it's been up, what are your average populations at maximum during your good times?
Currently, we're getting about, during peak times, we're getting about 35 people per day.
So, I was going to say, or ask you rather, what do you think are the greatest problems with Space Station 13 today, or at least on your server?
Today, on my server, I would say one of the issues is it's not quite as welcoming to new players as a lot of other servers are. So some of the code's really outdated. Some of the systems are a little bit more obtrusive, and we don't have a wiki currently. And to me, a server lives and dies on its ability to bring new people into its fold.
Well, hopefully this interview will at least go a ways toward that.
Yes, it is. We don't have a wiki or the mentor position as of yet.
I'm sure we could find some people. Listen, people out there. Come help. Be good. All right. So, we were also discussing before the short break that you were getting about 35-ish people at a time on your prime times. Do you run 7 days a week or
7 days a week, 24 hours a day.
That's cool. That's cool. Now, here's my question. I do ask this to a lot of people just because I'm curious, and a lot of stations have views on this that are worth talking to, or at least talking about. And that is, how do you combat the special snowflakes when they emerge?
The people who want their characters to be noticed over everyone else?
Correct.
Well, at the moment, our server's pretty heavily action focused. So if you want to be a special snowflake, you have to go the Cuban Pete, George Malin's route and be so robust nobody can bring you down.
Cuban Pete was a mad bastard in his day. I remember the first time I saw him on TG Station, and there was nothing left.
Oh, him and George Malin's.
Oh, there's a reason why everyone knows who they are, regardless of the station they play on.
Oh, yeah. See, I remember playing against him at one point. It was the greatest duel of my life.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we can talk a little bit more about that later. I've got a good question on that will lead into it. So keep that story in mind. But the next question I have is, what are your opinion on people who play on your server and record, or what about those who stream? What would you want to say to them?
Well, streaming, not many people want to live stream Space Station is, hey, I'm a traitor. Oh, dude, this guy's a traitor, and they just go and club your head in. But recording, everyone is more than welcome to. I think it's a great thing. It allows me to get a little snapshot of a round, and just sometimes seeing what one person thought during one instant is really makes you feel a lot better about running the whole thing.
I can imagine. Outside perspective is always healthy.
Yeah.
So, sorry, continue.
It's because, from my position or any high-ranking admin position, we kind of have the bird's eye view, eye in the sky, but we never get to always just play a normal round, because even if we deadman, everybody knows we're still an admin and still knows our IC character.
Yeah, that's a fair point. So what do you think makes a good admin good?
Patience.
That's a good answer. What do you think makes a bad admin bad?
That's a good question. Favoritism.
That's also a very good answer, because I've seen that, and that is absolutely infuriating.
Oh, I won't even answer my own friends I help. I'll get an admin on or tell them to report it on the forums.
So impartiality is key, at least.
Yeah, to me. I mean, yeah, because if I have a friend that I've known for years and he did grief somebody, I'm not going to be impartial, so I have to have someone else do it.
I understand. On the nature of balance between Shitcurity and the everlasting gray tide, what's your opinion on how to maintain said balance?
Have the most robust head of security you can.
That's a good answer. Speaking of Shitcurity and the gray tide, this leads into that. Oh, we're going to delve deep into this. How do you handle Shitcurity when it gets too far out of hand?
As an admin or as a player?
Either or. Let's hear both.
Well, as an admin, a lot of times I figure I'm only going to issue one type of ban, and that is a permaban. I essentially give myself two options. Either A, I will talk to somebody and they will realize that, yeah, I kind of overreacted, or I shouldn't have done that and that was a bad idea. In which case, it's fine, whatever. Yeah, I might kill you or kick you for this round, but next round you're more than welcome to come back. And the other kind is, why can't I just go around harm batoning everybody? And you don't get to play a security anymore.
Okay, but to the other side of it, that's very, very critical. How do you handle the gray tide?
Oh, the gray tide is much trickier. For our server, it's a little bit different because it's so incredibly lethal that, if you break a window, the Imperial Guard can and sometimes will just gun you down in the hallway. So probably not a good idea to do in front of the Inquisitor or the Lord General. But as a general Space Station 13 question, the gray tide is one of them things that's hard to handle. It's intrinsically important to Space Station 13, and it's also intrinsically important that they're griefing, for everyone to remember. Bans should be issued lightly with the Gray Tide, unless it's getting out of control. But it's not quite one of the easier things in the world to deal with.
I can understand that. So here's a good question, and you've probably played your fair share of Space Station 13, but as an admin or player, you can answer this either way. What is the best AI loss set, and why?
Oh God. Just the standard Asimov laws are the only one that ever work. You put anything else in and everything's gone to shit.
It can certainly get that way, but if people are creative, I've seen Asimov also twisted into a fucking nightmare.
They're all twisted. AIs are terrifying things. I've had somebody upload a new player go, why don't we upload the Paladin laws? It's a really good idea. And he was a Borg, and the captain wanted to do it, and I was playing as the AI, and normally I'd say absolutely not. Under no circumstances are you to ever.
So you were saying that when someone was trying to upload the Paladin AI law set, you were telling them not to do it.
Under normal circumstances, yes. However, the Borg in question and the captain were both new, and I figured I could tell them why it's terrible, or I could show them why the Paladin law set is just absolutely terrible. And by the end of the round, there were 2 people left alive, because when you start locking down doorways, people break things, and then they're damaging the station, and then you send in an army of killbots to deal with them.
Gotta love them killbots.
Oh, yes. Security Borgs with an active roboticist.
It's always fun. So what is the best traitor you have ever seen?
Oh, God.
This is leading into George Mellons. This is leading in.
Oh, I'll have to do my stories on Head of Security. The best traitor I have ever seen. Sometimes it's the mad bomber monkeys. Some scientist who somehow manages to become a monkey and back, and because he can go through the vents.
Yeah.
And just plant bombs all over the station, come back, turn himself back into a human, blow it up, and everybody goes, "Well, a monkey did it." And the guy's like, "I don't know who did it. It must have been one of the geneticists."
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. But do you have any good George Mellons, or perhaps Cuban Pete stories?
Oh, I never did see Cuban Pete, although there was a George Mellons on LLA when I used to play. He was a terrifying sight for me, as I always played Head of Security. One time I did actually manage to arrest him, though, when he was a traitor. I would like to say that it was an epic battle, but no, he was breaking into a window, and I walked up and stunned him and found an EMAG on him.
Mellons goes down in history as one of the most robust people on Space Station 13.
And I just, boom, I win! Yay!
I remember one story someone told me where they said that back in the old days of Space Station 13, no one spawned with oxygen in their little emergency pack, so there were oxygen bottles everywhere. And he would cook superheated air and then put it into those bottles and then distribute it all through the station and then break a window somewhere. And people would go for those bottles and then burn alive. Like, everyone would die.
Oh, yes. That is always absolutely hilarious. Or was, back when that was more of a thing that you could do. You still kind of can now, but it's a lot less effective, as everybody has their own, and people have been playing for so long that if you don't have one, very first thing I need to do is get oxygen before either A, someone tampers with it, or B, it's all gone.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a instinctual reaction in Space Station 13 these days. So what is the worst Antag you've ever seen?
People who grab the double E sword and try and go murder boner.
Yeah, that's kind of an idiot thing to do most of the days.
Yeah, because if you have any half-decent sack, yeah, you can deflect, 80-90% of shots coming at you, but one person's just going to throw a flashbang at you and wear sunglasses and earmuffs, and you won't have them, and they're going to get up before you, stun baton you, handcuff you, and toss you out an airlock.
Well, it's not only that. It's, someone will do that E-sword trick, and then someone will, start picking shit up in the hallway and hit you with it. I mean, e-sword's cool and all, but how many toolboxes to the face can you take?
Yeah, exactly. Unless you have the mining armor and all the regen viruses and all that fun stuff.
Usually traders are not that thorough, but occasionally they are, and they're quite terrifying.
Oh, I hated it when they nerfed the mining suit on one of the servers I played on, because I used to break into Viro, make max level regen everything, fill myself with Hyperzine, was it, that made you run super fast? Go get all the Goliath plates, carry a Goliath behind me and give it the Lazarus injector, and then just go to town with a double E sword.
Yeah, and that's where those traders just end up murdering half the station, which is pretty funny to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your favorite round of Space Station 13 that you've ever witnessed or been part of, and why?
It was a Zito round. There's a picture of it somewhere. I might try and find it. There's actually two, but on a Xeno round, it was down to like me and it was me and 3 other people left alive on the station, including the AI. There was a Hulk, roboticist, and me as the head of security, and then the AI. And we had killed almost 15 xenomorphs in a desperate last stand in the AI upload chamber. that was good stuff. And the other one was a round where we actually rebuilt the derelict station. Singularity and all.
That's always kind of cool to see when people, don't blow the station up, but instead, try to use their creative energies to build something crazy. I remember a round on Goon where a guy built a fucking basketball court. Unfortunately, he forgot oxygen, which was kind of a big loss to the visiting team. But, a game of basketball was theoretically played.
For briefly, till one of the teams suffocated to death.
The away team is on the ground. All right, so what is your favorite event in Space Station 13 and why?
I go back and forth on this one. Sometimes it's a meteor round, except for the fact that it lags the crap out of the station. Because it's just one of them, you're going to die. It's just how long can you survive before you do.
Indeed, especially heavy enough meteor strikes make it into a game of, that movie Gravity comes to mind.
Yeah, any catastrophic film comes into mind. But it's also some of the most fun you can have is making that desperate spacewalk, hoping that door on the other side has no power so you can crowbar your way in.
Yeah, and find what few supplies you can and try to survive.
Yeah, it's when the emergency suit and the fire suit really come into play as those situations.
Indeed. Now, what is your least favorite event and why?
I hate Changeling routes. And Cult. Nobody knows how to play Cult, and B, Changeling would be a lot more fun if the crew gave a crap. Because, if you call security, they ain't coming. I've been dragged in front of the head of security and 2 SEC officers staring at me while they're talking, and a Changeling just walks by, stings me, I'm screaming help, and he's just dragging me off, and they're just standing there.
Yeah, Changelings can certainly be very challenging. Now, these rounds don't come up too very often, usually because a server has to have an extended round for it to work. But what is your opinion on Nations rounds?
Oh, God. Nation rounds always end up in a clusterfuck.
Hail Cargonia! Yes, continue.
Security always wins. You just gotta kill the cargo before they order everything.
That is true.
Yeah. Nobody else understands it. You just kill all the cargo techs or implant bombs in them and force them to attack engineering.
Engineering can be very challenging because they can be like, embargo, and there's no power.
Or go ahead, attack us. We'll just release the singularity, and we've already deconstructed all the consoles.
Yeah, so it's that catch-22 of you fuck us, we take you down with us, and then
nobody wins in those rounds.
Yeah, it's kind of like a mini United Nations on the verge of World War III. It gets very interesting.
I always liked it.
So, here's a question I ask every admin, because people put it to me to ask admins. Why are our prayers never answered?
I always answer my prayers.
So, would you care to elaborate? Because this server sounds like it's kind of in the minority for answering the prayers. Many servers it gets kind of lost in the sheer number of people, or so on.
So, there's actually a story from just the other day. The mime was praying to the god emperor of mankind. So first I demanded shoes of him. He brought me shoes. Then I demanded of him lipstick, and he brought me all the lipstick on the station. And then he was about to be killed by an orc war boss, and he begged the god emperor to save him. So I turned him into a cat, and he slipped away unnoticed.
The god emperor is wise. Ave Imperator.
I thought it was the best decision I could think of at the time.
I understand that. So, do you usually play Space Station 13, and on what servers, what jobs, and why?
I don't get a whole lot of playtime in at this point. Running the thing kind of hurts it. But so, what I do play, I play at Archangel, and as an admin, the extent of my play is possessing a potted plant, naming it the Death Shrub, and then just following somewhere around at random.
An amusing, interesting idea. Why is this plant following me?
Oh no, I've had people round up all the plants on the station and incinerate them.
Yeah, that would make me a little paranoid as well, being followed by shrubbery.
But when I used to play before being an admin, I almost always played as the head of security. It gave me the ability to role play, and it also gave me the ability to have the action that I wanted.
I understand that. Just something action-based. Keep things lively. Keep things... You got shit coming. You don't know how to prioritize it all. You gotta kind of make the most of it. You have to guess whether or not this is a cult, this is a changeling, this is a traitor, this is a board assistant, you know.
Yeah, I did actually figure out how to test for changelings in all forms of the code, but that's not a secret I'm ready to reveal to everyone.
I would love to hear that after the interview, if that's okay.
Oh, I will tell you.
Because I've had some paranoid moments, like sitting there with a briefcase full of bombs and herding everyone into a room and saying, okay, if anyone leaves this room, I turn the handle. It's time to go, baby, you know. And
we're all going to die today.
Yeah, and I was like, one of you is a changeling. It doesn't work. Usually I die. But
They just stun you and you're like, shit.
Yeah, usually I'm so cold, dead. Okay. As an admin, how often do you press buttons?
Whenever I need to, or I feel that it will improve the round.
So just as an ad needed, but not too often, hopefully.
No, I don't like using my buttons, because generally I'm just observing anyways. Or I'm, the Death Shrub, one of the two.
Well, they say the best sort of deity is that which does not have to do anything.
Yeah. Just casually watching the station.
Oh, that's good. What is the most rewarding part of being an admin?
Seeing that people are having fun on the server.
That's a good answer.
That's one of the things I like the most. Because I'm not going to be able to make everybody happy, but maybe I can make it so everybody can have some fun.
That's a good answer. In your opinion, what is the very best map for Space Station 13 and why?
Crap. What's it called? The old TG map where it's got the escape arm all the way on the far right and security on the north. Huh?
Box Station.
It might be Box Station. It's the pretty standard one that everyone uses.
A lot of people use Box, yeah.
I like it. It's just like it's like you got the bridge and then you got the hallway around and then you got each arm and you got arrivals. Then at the north you got security. It's so nice and neat and there's plenty of maintenance to hide in and you can get anywhere you need in a relatively quick amount of time. It's good.
It is a good station. I spent probably most of my Space Station 13 time playing on Box Station.
Yeah. When I get to another map, I'm like, I don't know this map. Where are arrivals? I'm lost. Where am I going?
So what is your favorite Antag role and why?
Oh, Nuke Ops. Nuke Ops are always the best because it gives the station a very clear goal and a very, very clear enemy to fight. Usually. Unless they go stealth, in which case you just lose because no one's paying any attention.
Yeah, that's true.
I've seen people walk in with syndicate balloons and an EMAG and win.
Yeah, no, I've seen that where you have people walking around, obviously doing traitor things, but it's an hour into the round and nobody cares.
Yeah, or like first 10 minutes of the round, just get a balloon, go to the station, grab a spacesuit.
Yeah, and just walk around like you belong there and nobody says anything.
Yep. Nobody notices.
So, my final question of the interview, and I've been asking this in the last few: clown or mime?
All hail the hunk mother.
That's the most common response. At least clown in some favoritism. As we've reached the end of the interview, the conclusion, do you have anything you want to communicate to the Space Station 13 community? Shoutouts, apocalyptic warnings, requests, and so on. The time is yours.
I would just like to tell everyone that, you may have had some bad experiences in the past with Archangel. Some of it is probably justified that you feel the way that you do, but things have changed and will be changing in the future to some extent. I'm not going to remove or do any large sweeping changes, but there are going to be some differences, and maybe you might want to come check it out again.
All right, and folks, if you want to check it out, the links are below. Thank you guys for listening. My guest today has been Papa Snow. He is the head honcho over at Archangel, and the links are below once again for you to check out or to get into contact with interview. Words good, whiskey good. Anyways, thank you for joining me today, sir.
All right.